I'm attempting to try and get my air conditioner to work. I've had this air conditioner for about 3 years, but I think it's coming towards the end of its life. Anyways, despite how warm it may be in Canada, it's pretty cold here on Frost. This is the Go for StarCraft quarterfinals match, and it's for the monthly finals. Ladies and gentlemen, spawning top right corner of the map, the newcomer, Rockets Hyun.
The bottom right, as the purple Terran, it is Goody.
What did he say? I played Bio now.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Okay, so Hyun kind of knows what's coming into this. You know, here's the thing though. Hyun's a talented player, and anyone who tries to tell you otherwise is a moron. But that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to walk over Goody. I think, honestly, truthfully, Hyun will probably take this series. Not because Goody plays mech, but because Hyun knows how to play against mech. Last time we saw Revolver kind of flounder and struggle, but I've seen Hyun specifically do things like fungal growth on top of Ravens, like hitting timings with those drops. I mean, this is something he's definitely going to be a lot more comfortable with than I think our last Zerg player was.
I think so as well. Sometimes when we see some player, just not know how to deal with mech, immediately after we see a pro player such as Hyun just absolutely dismantle it. Like, what was the problem in the first place kind of thing.
Right? It looks so simple at first, and for some builds there are like direct counters to them, but mech in general, there's no like direct counter. You just have to make the right decisions at the right times.
Well, for instance, if Hyun decides to go for that Roach Hydra Viper attack, it's going to be a lot more powerful than what we saw, and a lot more well executed, sorry Revolver, but than what we saw in that first game on Habitation Station. So well timed and whatnot that it could in fact break Goody. So yeah, well, it's not hard counters. They're definitely very strong attacks that you can take advantage of and make mech look kind of silly.
Oh, it's worth noting, just as we close the bets here, there's actually obviously a lot of weight here. There's what 3,700 Partoofs actually on Hyun taking this 2-0, but there's a surprising spread on Goody taking this series as well. So if Goody wins, it might not be the craziest upset in the world, but with that many Partoofs bet on Hyun 2-0ing, as long as Hyun doesn't 2-0, everybody gets paid. It's kind of the bottom line. Now, we do have a couple links coming out from Hyun. Again, these are kind of like, I imagine, to be your anti-Reaper links. You're expecting to have 1 or 2 in your base, no matter who the player is, even if it is Goody, and he is, in fact, going to show his Reaper. So these links are not made for nothing.
No, it's not.
Oh, he could have stopped that for now. He could just move closer to the refinery, or the geyser.
Ooh.
Okay, still alive. Now he didn't dedicate to this. Last time we saw, there's that 2 racks, double Reaper, weird production stuff going on. But I think Goody's gonna have to play the best of his best to even have a chance here against Hyun, and somehow manages to dodge all of those lings. What?
Talented, very talented. Goes in and checks to see if maybe he missed that second gas off to the left. He didn't. Hyun is not gonna be getting speed anytime soon, and as such, the Reaper is free to go ahead and scout again and again and again, which is pretty nice for Goody.
Yeah, now, if you play Gasless as the opener here, for Goody, that might look like, okay, this is going to be easy peasy. I don't have to deal with roaches or circlings too early, but it's not difficult to make up for that lack of a first gas by doing what Hyun's doing right now, and that is double gassing. Now, as for what he does, I don't know, I really like the roach drops. I thought it was a cool move. I don't know if it's going to catch Goody off guard, though. Again, like, whether it was a joke or a dead serious thing, the fact that Revolver said thanks Hyun kind of makes you think coming into the series, like, okay, if Hyun told him to do that, then Hyun himself may, in fact, also do that.
I was thinking, will he? And I want to say that he won't, honestly. I think he might try it later, but if he can just do a normal macro game, then he's going to just do that. We're really going to see this first game, how the series will play out.
We say normal macro game, but we're going to be honest, with Goody involved, there's rarely a normal macro game out of most players.
Yes, well. Goody was actually kind of paranoid, it looks like. He didn't put that command center on the low ground. I believe he did that every other time, except for that odd 2-Rex Reaper opener.
Makes sense, though. I mean, again, you're never quite sure if there's going to be those lings that you didn't kill off rushing across the map or not. We do see him go with this investment in Marines, though, which I do find quite curious. The nice thing about Marines, even on upgrade, is they will deal with lower amounts of Mutalisks. They can deal with a certain amount of lings. They're actually going to almost kill the Overlord.
Yeah. He got a bunch of Marines, and he did not put his reactor on the... Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Now you notice it. No Hellions, right? No Hellions, no Banshees. It's going to be a tank, some Marines, and actually a dropship, which is
That's
interesting.
that's for me the one thing I go whoa about, because he joked around and said I play Bio now, and he was like, no, you 100% mecha. But like, this is something that may just catch you on a little bit off guard. Can't expect
What
you to get
is
a little bit
this?
more time to breathe because mech hits much later. But instead goes
I
for this
don't.
aggressive push.
That's so weird.
I don't
Okay,
really.
so
This isn't a build I really recognize though, so I can't.
no, it's not normal. That's for sure. I mean, there used to be in Wings of Liberty, like earlier on, you would find odd timings to try and catch a Zerg droning, and they would die. Mostly because Zergs were a lot worse back then. Like everyone was a lot worse back then. So that would actually win. But even if you catch them droning a little bit, it just like so happens like their queen control is better, their larva management's a lot better, that they actually push back weird stuff like this.
Oh, you know what's actually a weird thing to consider? This is so minor, but oh, actually, the roach is coming in the front lines here. We'll get transfused. This one roach is like an ultralist, just won't die. Is it really gonna live? This roach has had like 5 extra lives on it. Okay, the
There we
tanks kill
go.
it. He
And
pick
you
up
can
the
save both
tanks.
the tanks
Yeah.
as long as the queens don't get the medevac.
Nope.
Whoa, you forgot a tank, buddy.
Oh, I think he's just helping out.
Wow. Yeah, medevac. Okay.
All right, so I was gonna say a little bit before the engagement started, guys. One weird thing to consider for Hyun's, I guess, benefit is I think this is the first time he'll be playing on the European server, where it's actually his home server as well. He's currently living in the team house in Germany. I think it's in Germany at least, but he is in Europe and not Korea, as he normally is for all these monthly finals in the past. So there's actually going to be no latency issue for him. Just curious enough, running through today.
That's cool. I'm still trying to figure out what the heck Goody was planning on doing. Like, what scenario that would really work out well.
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking, right? Like, you put the siege tanks on like the low ground over here by the rocks, and then drop your marines, and like maybe they give cover fire or something. I don't know. It's weird. Like, there's no terrain abuse for those siege tanks. The drop itself makes sense. It's the 2 siege tanks that look so odd to me.
Even the drop, I don't know. Well, Hyun's gonna try and push in right here. This is a typical roach attack that we've been seeing a lot more lately, but it was, I feel like it was, yeah, it gets wrecked. Like, that was an odd choice because Hyun knew that he at least had 2 tanks that he saved. So that was just, seems kind of doomed to fail. I'm not sure why he tried, but he did, and he lost out on it.
Overlord also going to be pushed back for the time being. We do have the extra factories finally coming down, but the thing is, all these tanks are holding strong. If this had been a weird 2-base Mutalisk earlier gas build out of Hyun, Goody would be devastated right now. He's getting a couple turrets down now for safety's sake, but I think he knew a big part of that early scout with the Reaper was, you don't have this gas. There's no way you're going to be getting 2 base Mutalisks off no gas 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes in the game.
Yeah. He is still getting a Spire, though. He's getting Roach upgrades, so he's probably just gonna set himself up for the Swarm Host Muta transition. That's what I expect anyways.
It's actually funny you bring that up. Hyun is a player who's willing to use Swarm Hosts. I don't know if he'd necessarily go to them. I think Mutalisks have kind of been the favored unit of a lot of players, especially Koreans more than anyone else, but Revolver seemed very reluctant to ever even think about Swarm Hosts. I think Hyun, though, is a player who's definitely got that within his, his inventory. I don't know how you want to phrase that.
1 second.
Capability. He's got the capability of going them. There we go. But Tunneling Claws and Burrow both being researched at the same time. So we saw some cool stuff come out of this for Revolver. He did manage to get some Burrow attacks that did work pretty well against Goody. The problem is, Hyun's already going to have to deal with a lot of turrets being placed down. He's got tanks spread out like crazy. It's not going to be that one big crazy sneak attack that, surprise, kills all the tanks. The shark attack move is always cool to see, though, and bonus points for style. But one of the other things, too, again, is the regen that they get is really nice. So let's say you have to disengage from a fight. Well, you heal up really fast as if you had your own medevacs on top of each and every one of these roaches. Now, that's not really where the focal point of the game is going to be by any means, but there's a lot of benefits to the Tunneling Claws outside of the actual movement. But we do have the Mutalisks on the way. Not quite the crazy 47 like we've seen out of Revolver in the past, but we've also got the Infestation Pit. And for me, again, it kind of comes to, will this be for Swarm Host? Will we go straight to Hive Tech? I think, again, like Hyun's going to be a player a little bit more comfortable with his tech swaps as well. Revolver was making some good tech swaps, but they were slow and they were awkward, and they weren't really ready to follow one after the other. I think Hyun's going to be a little bit smoother in his transitions. And that is one of the big ways to start beating back mech players, too. You hope to make too much of the wrong type of unit, and you just flank them with the other. So, like, hypothetical scenario, you force out a lot of Vikings, suddenly there's not a lot of tanks on the ground, bam, Swarm Host. Or alternatively, Lots of swarm hosts make you make your opponent make a lot of tanks. Bam, Mutalisks. Not quite as black and white as that is being described, but still, it's kind of the basic concept of it. It will be for enduring locusts.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Yeah, so that's
base in the bottom left too.
That's kind of cool, and that's what I expected, honestly. Hyun doing that muta to swarm host to muta, because it's so powerful, and not only that, but Hyun's actually Korean, even though he's living in Europe, and he participated in all these European cups. But it's really popular in Korea as well, so that's what I was expecting. I'm glad to see them do it. I think we're going to see how strong it can be, and why most Zergs are adopting this style. That upper left space is kind of bold by Goody.
Well, this is one of the things, though. Look at the Overlords already spreading out. Like, Hyun might not know about this, but he's going to. The intention was to block these off, but he's actually going to find them for kills. But I like the Swarm. So again, we didn't see a single Swarm host in the last series, and you don't need Swarm hosts to rely on winning the game for you, but you do need them to force your opponent to stay in a spot with a certain amount of units, lest they give up that position.
Look how he's using the roaches as well. He's not using the burrow tactics to try and get any like tank snipes or anything like that. No, he's taking down missile turrets. Maybe the mutas later on will be more useful.
Yeah, I kind of like these more harass-oriented, not like all-or-nothing type moves.
Yeah.
Because that really, just thinking back, that really does feel like a lot of what Revolver is doing, sort of more all-or-nothing oriented type attacks.
Agreed. Just,
Save the SCV! Sorry.
No one remembers the load.
Right? Because, actually, you know what? Big shout, this is forever ago. This is like only the die-hard Base Street TV fans will remember this. On Neoplanet S, there was a game of Masan versus Yumi for the StarCraft 2 Survivor Series, and Yumi loaded his SCVs at the start of the game when Masan scouted, so it looked like a T-Rex, but it wasn't. It was actually pretty cool to see.
Interesting.
Masan also then spent like 5 drones spreading across the map trying to find the barracks, but of course didn't, because there was no T-Rex to be had. Anyways, this command center will go down to the Mutalisks, sad to see. Roaches have torn apart a lot of these turrets though, and again, like these sort of like harass-oriented type moves, he's actually not left the natural open to the Swarm hosts.
Swarm host is like, stop.
I know, let me...
Get me out.
Now he's pushing. This is worth noting for Goody. He's not looking to play defensive, guys.
Whoa!
He'll catch the Swarm hosts in the middle of the map, and even if they burrow and get a Locust Wave out, with the army being already on top of them, all it takes is a scan to push back the Locust Wave and kill the Swarm hosts. Their base is actually going to go down while this is happening, losing a lot of SCVs behind this. For Goody, he appears to be the one who's going for that sort of all-or-nothing type attack, but the Locusts, as we see, they get dissipated very quickly. Siege Tank Fire and Hellbats are a little too good in that regard. Third base for Hyun. Well, fourth base is actually going to fall. Base for a base, blood for blood, however you want to look at it. Goody's got to start trying to defend at home. It's not a lot of roaches here, but he has to clean these up.
Yeah, and Goody's starting to spread himself a little thin. Off to the north, he loses a couple of Thors. The muta's even coming in. I mean,
look at Hyun, by the way. He's like controlling these locusts to stutter step them forward instead of just like attack moving. It's kind of cool to watch.
If you guys don't play Zerg, you don't play Stormhost at the very least, like, they're actually kind of difficult to control. They're kind of derpy.
Yeah, the locusts are full retard mode 9 times out of 10. They carry locusts towards the enemy. They have the worst AI when it comes to pathing. It's they're free units though, so you can't really complain, right?
Yeah, you really can't. But Hyun does push that back, and not that difficult either. I mean, he lost a base, and I think he lost a lot of drones there, but he has another one up and ready to go. And he did a lot of damage to Goody's third.
Yeah, got it raw. He's south with building of this command center. Goody's not quite on that 9 orbital count that you'd love to have, so you can start sacrificing his CVs. But he's on the retreat from Locust, and this is again a little bit scary because he didn't have to deal with this at all in the previous series.
No, he didn't. And that might have been what why he even tried to push out at all, because maybe he saw an opportunity that the mutant count was low and the roach count was low. The Swarmhost count is also hopefully low, and there's some very strong timings that you can do where the Swarmhost is low enough, just barely low enough that you can actually push through and win.
Well, this base is dead this time. Even the lifting off won't save it. But the Swarmhosts have been scanned and revealed Goody is pushing more northward, and you know what's weird? He built this base, but he's not rallied it, so this 4 SCV is just kind of chilling.
Yeah. Hyun has already abandoned that northern base.
Wait, what? He recognized that these were here because he just built a refinery. Why is he not rallying the command center and building? Okay, whatever. Gonna knock down the top left. Siege tanks are gonna help deal with the Locust a little bit, as Siege tanks do quite well at that. But this isn't the scenario where Revolver was like starving out and losing bases. Hyun's got some decent mineral count behind this. He's got a lot of Locusts to still throw away. And let's not forget about these Mutalisks. If the Thors go down, the Mutalisk will reign supreme. Oh, that clump out of Hyun. Oh my god.
That was close, losing a big chunk, but yeah, he's still got this Swarm Host, and that's the really big deal, is that he's not trading, he's not trying to stop Goody by trading out Roach Hydra or Mutas, he's just, you know, forcing Goody to pull back because he can't deal with Locust straight up.
Oh man, missile shards are so garbage versus this many Mutalisks. Not unless you've got 14 or 15 of them, like we saw before. So the tanks go down, and the production is producing 5 tanks at a time in anticipation of Swarm Host. Not a single Thor going to pop out of here. And then Mutalisk get on top of the tech labs, which means no Thors will be coming out after this either. There's actually no turrets here in the main, and Goody is going to lose his production. And this was something we did not see happen at all in the previous series. That is so critically important to the way this game is going to play out. And that's that Goody's losing his production. One Thor.
Take on the armories, make sure there's no Thors ever, take down the engineering bay.
Yeah, GG. A little anticlimactic, but a really good move out of Hyun, identifying the weakness of Goody and exploiting it.